Welcome back everyone, how you doing tonight? In today's News Daily video, we have a ton of things to break down and discuss. Hear my thoughts and opinions behind the World Cup group stage draw. I'll be talking about the latest news involving the Ricketts, Lukaku and Rudiger as well too. So you guys smash that like button, hope you guys enjoy. But before we get into anything, I want to get one big plug out of the way first. As you guys know, I've been involved with BetVictor's Last Fan Standing show, and in this week's episode, we have on an amazing guest in George Benson. Anyway, the topics in this week's episode was to discuss some of the best Premier League duos throughout history, and of course, I'm going to play you guys a quick clip right now.
I was going to go for Rudy and Ronaldo. I went for Cole and York. The reason being, the telepathy they had together, the combination, the goals that they scored. And not only that, we're talking about different people here, but Cole and York did it all, won all the marbles in the same season. Now, you might want to talk about how Kane and Son have got better statistics or something like that.
For me, I understand York and Cole, I understand, Bergkamp and Henry, but I think for me, Lampard and Drogba, that telepathic understanding relationship they both had in their game, they just fully complement each other instantly, and it's no surprise that relationship also works outside the field as well too. Lampard just knew instantly when to time his runs, when to play those left passes to Drogba. How many flick-ons would Drogba make with his headers as well to find Lampard running in behind. I love seeing relationships like this. I feel like we don't really see it as much anymore. But for me, I'm just seeing that the amount of success we had from these two in delivering us trophies and big moments for us, for me, I think they're the best in my opinion. And proof is in the pudding when we beat Man United in the FA Cup final with that amazing 1-2 flick on with Drogba and Lampard. So you guys, that's my opinion. So if you want to catch the full episode this week, you'll find a link in the card above and in the description below. So right now, let's discuss the latest news involving the Ricketts. Now, we got some more updates surrounding them, and the UK government this time are quite worried about the controversies surrounding the bids. Of course, this was reported by The Telegraph, and we know the Ricketts family campaign has been literally rocked by many accusations of bigotry, controversy, and yeah, you can go on, but I think ultimately as well too, the sporting practices, the business practices used for some of the sporting franchises they've owned are just not good enough in my opinion. And I think the proof's in the pudding right now actually, where you see the success of the Cubs just doesn't exist anymore. They're nowhere near close to competing for any World Series at all. They're selling all their top stars and players too. They haven't respected the fans there as well. And I think for me, these are the key things we should pick up on. And this is why I have no confidence behind them. Of course, Chelsea Football Club, London, we're a brand, we're an institution. Everyone wants to buy us, it's natural. But for me, I don't trust this strategy personally. And, it's interesting the government have some concerns surrounding the bid too. Of course, naturally, they forced Roman Abramovich to sell the football club by imposing the sanctions on him due to the conflict between Ukraine and Russia. So, if we let Roman go to then, bring on board new owners that are rife with controversy too, that's going to make everything the UK government's done a bit messy, in my opinion, and it's not going to make as much sense. Of course, we understand that the 11th of April this month is the final deadline, of course, for bids to be made, for improved offers to come through. Let's hope by then we won't be talking about the Ricketts anymore, because I'm getting a bit sick and tired of this family personally, to be honest with you guys. But it does seem the Ricketts are moving undeterred though. Of course, today news came out that they have worked alongside Jefferies, a US-based investment bank, of course, who are providing advice and potentially helping them financially, of course, to buy the football club. Of course, we got clarification that this is mainly an advisory role. We know that the Ricketts are working alongside Ken Griffin, multi-billionaire as well too, who also doesn't have the best history when it comes to working in sports in general. So, I'm very unsure against these people. And if you feel the same way as well, tomorrow at 12 p.m. before the game versus Brentford, there is going to be a big fan protest where it's a big opportunity for fans to, let their voices be heard, especially with the UK government being very receptive to the discourse coming out from the fan base. We could really maybe create even more pressure to just really kill any of the bidding efforts about to be made by the Ricketts family. For me, I don't know. My thing that I'm totally against is their poor sporting strategies. I'm sorry. I'm looking at what's happening now with the Cubs. I can imagine it being the same thing, because ultimately, you know, these guys are hyper-capitalists that really care more about the money instead of, you know, making the fans happy or doing anything for us. And I think, you know, I've been actually doing like a big video behind them, right? Doing a lot of research, trying to, you know, to tell how exactly they even bought the Cubs to begin with. And naturally, it was a big scandal and there was a ton of controversy behind them, even behind them to begin with. So it's a long video. I hope to release it by next week before, of course, like the 11th of April, before bids come through. But right now, you guys, I think that's enough from them. As I'm saying, if you want to make your voices heard against them, if you don't want these guys to be in the running, come to the protest tomorrow at 12 p.m. You guys, as you can see, details on the screen. And right now, we move on to the next story. And I think we have to discuss the World Cup draw. Finally, after that very, very long ceremony, we finally were able to get to the draw. And there's some very interesting games. Now, you know, I'm going to start with things a bit differently. I want to focus on Group H quickly. I'm looking at that group that Ghana is in. Of course, you guys know Ghana is it's my country, you know. I mean, my mom's from Ghana, you know, she's Ghana. And basically drawing against Portugal, South Korea, and Uruguay. And you know, like when I saw that happen, I was getting flashbacks to that semi-final years back, man. I'll never ever forgive Suarez for what he did. Absolute scumbag, absolute cheat. And he has to pay the price. He has to suffer. And interesting news is that, you know, rumors keep intensifying that maybe Hudson-Odoi could be, you know, looking to switch nations now and join up with the Ghanaian national team, as well as Inaki Williams as well too from Athletic Bilbao. So for me, if Hudson-Odoi joined the Ghanaian national team, I'd imagine that's gonna potentially encourage even more players to want to sign up to the national team and, you know, compete in a World Cup. And if that happens, we could have some very, very dangerous attacking threat in the World Cup. But of course, let's also focus on Group B as well. Of course, I'm also from England as well too. You're looking at that group, you're looking at Iran being in it, the USA, and of course that playoff place potentially could go to Ukraine. And this could be like one of the maddest like political groups of all time. Like, God forbid what the chance would be like from the fans during these games. It would absolutely be it would be mad. But you know, just to let you guys know, I have got a few tickets secured for the World Cup. I'll be going during like near the end of November. I'm very excited, very, very excited. You guys, I love international tournaments. So I expect me to be covering my time there when I do go. So right now, move on to the final two stories, and let's discuss the latest news involving Antonio Rudiger. Now, we know yesterday that Barcelona have made an effort to try and sign him. You know, we saw the evidence with our own two eyes. Rudiger's agent, of course, met up with some of the you know, figures at Barcelona to discuss a potential move as well too. But you know, we are getting some more context and news surrounding the news that we literally saw yesterday. And Barcelona, as we know, are looking to take advantage of the sanctions being imposed on us at this point in time. Barca see Rudiger as like a key player to sign. You know, he matches and mixes that physicality alongside the technical play. And you know, Barcelona, the Xavi, he wants to have a team that can compete technically, but also physically as well too. And he will know himself, when he was playing for Barcelona near the end of that you know, tiki-taka era, they were starting to get a bit out-muscled and they were starting to get overpowered by teams quite a lot, and that's why they weren't as successful as time went on. So it's interesting that Xavi has learned from that and he's trying to build something new at Barcelona. So it makes sense that they want Rudiger, and even though it seems like maybe technically they might have actually secured Andreas Christensen, can you imagine potentially seeing Rudiger and Christensen at the new camp next season? That would just... I'm not too sure about that, to be honest with you guys. But anyway, we got reports from Spanish, you know, Twitch streamer who's got, you know, a bit of like a renowned name, Gerard Romero, reports that actually Rudiger gave his blessing to hear Boss' proposal after they beat Real Madrid 4-0. What do I think about that? Before I give my thoughts and opinions, The Telegraph also reported that his agent has insisted that no decisions have been made in his future, and now I'll give my opinions. And to be honest with you guys, I feel like this makes a lot of sense. You know, I see it like this. Once the ownership does come, I mean, they have to make statements. They'll make statements in the transfer window, and they're going to make statements when it comes to securing players as well, whose contracts could be expiring soon. So if I was Rudiger, you know, with more money potentially being available in the horizon, this is an opportunity now to speak to every club that's showing interest in you. That's your Paris Saint-Germain's, your Real Madrid's, your Juventus's as well too. Man United's allegedly too. I can't imagine ever's snaking us like that, to be honest. And of course, there's an opportunity for Barcelona as well. Currently, Barca's financial offer is like the weakest one, as reports are suggesting. He's got much stronger offers elsewhere, but he's building a case for himself of, listen, I've expressed my desire to want to remain with the club, but I need to be compensated fairly. I'm one of the best defenders in the world. I think he keeps proving that consistently now over like these past 18, 24 months. And potentially for me, I think if Rudiger was to go, that could even maybe undermine Tuchel as well, because this is a key player that plays a key part in the system. I mean, we see it all the time. Like, Rudiger is like one of the least most rotated players in the entire squads. And I guess after Tuchel said in his press conference that he feels confident that Rudiger is going to remain, I'd imagine these guys are having personal conversations between them. Tuchel is not going to tell players to sign less contracts and screw themselves over. He's not going to do that. So I think right now they're collecting as many proposals as possible, and I think ultimately the best decision will be made, and a part of me still feels like Rudiger is going to remain. I mean, of course, there's a slight possibility that Rudiger could be enticed by potentially a new challenge, a massive signing on fee as well too, and like a very respectable wage to go with that, but only time will tell. Let's watch the space and let's see what happens. So right now, we end things quickly with the final news story, and that involves Romelu Lukaku and more links with Inter Milan. Now, these links aren't as concrete, however, they are very suggestive links. We know that Inter Milan currently in the league table, they're like thirds. Milan are leading. I think Napoli are ahead of them as well too. And even though Edin Dzeko has been a good replacement for Lukaku, I think scoring like 16 goals in like 39 games or something like that. Listen, last season, Lukaku had 30 goals in 44 appearances, and he's been getting 30 plus goals a season for Inter Milan. If they don't win the Scudetto this season, you'd imagine that they definitely would have missed out on Lukaku's goals. And considering that they play a style of football that complements and gets the very best out of him, would it be a surprise if Inter Milan tries to come back in for Lukaku to try and sign him? That wouldn't surprise me. And anyway, today reports came out from Gazzetta dello Sport as well, talking about a previous interview he had with current Inter Milan manager Simone Inzaghi, where he expressed the fact that when he worked alongside Lukaku during pre-season just for 10 days, like instantly he was like, I've never worked with a striker this unique before. There has been rumours coming up beforehand that Lukaku would be very happy to return back to Inter Milan, take a massive, wage reduction too to make that dream happen. I'd imagine he secured so much money here for us as well too. He'll get a signing on fee going back, and if he's on that half the wage he's currently on with us as well too, but he can play the football he wants and be in a comfortable environment, that wouldn't bother me. And I've got to keep things real. I've got literally nothing against Lukaku. I don't hate him. For me, I just get tired of this inefficiency we have. Maybe this is why I'm kind of open maybe to a new board change as well too, just because I feel like we've plateaued and reached a limit. We can't be signing players with record amounts of money who aren't the stars of the team, taking us to a different level. That's not good enough. And it makes a lot of sense, like why are we even considering spending this type of money on Lukaku if the plan isn't to get the best football out of him that will lead him to being like our leading goal scorer? Like if you're spending 100 mil, you're guaranteed at least 25 goals minimum in the season. I mean, the system just doesn't suit him at all. When there's no willingness to try and adapt the system to get the best out of him, which I thought was the original plan when we were first having these things with him, it just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So potentially, if for the sake of everyone, all parties, I could see it making sense. We can reduce the money that we have to pay to Inter Milan. We could work out a deal as well too that would benefit all parties. And would I be surprised if Lukaku left? Probably no, but I wouldn't hold it against him. For me, this would be more the fault of poor management that created this unnecessary issue to begin with. So you guys, on that note, I'm going to wrap things up, keep things moving. I'm going to see you guys tomorrow as well too, so stay tuned. And on that note, I'm Nini FC, this is Blue Lions TV. I'll catch you guys later with some more videos. Cool.